Long before the world had modern cities, long before machines and technology shaped human life, ancient people explained the mysteries of the world through powerful stories. These stories were filled with gods, heroes, curses, and monsters. But sometimes, when we look deeper into those stories, we begin to ask an uncomfortable question. What if the monster in the story was never really a monster? One of the most famous creatures in all of Greek mythology is the terrifying Minotaur. For thousands of years, people have imagined him as a brutal beast, half man, half bull, trapped inside a dark maze, devouring helpless victims, a creature so horrifying that heroes were celebrated simply for killing him. But what if the truth is very different? What if the Minotaur was not born evil, but forced into darkness by the cruelty of gods and humans? Tonight, we are going to uncover the tragic story behind one of mythology's most misunderstood figures, because the Minotaur story is not just about a monster in a maze. It is about power, punishment, fear, and a creature who never chose the life he was given. And by the end of this story, you might begin to wonder if the real monsters were not the creature trapped in the labyrinth, but the people who put him there. The story begins on the island of Crete, one of the most powerful kingdoms of the ancient world. Its ruler was King Minos, a man who desired absolute power and recognition from the gods. But in ancient Greece, becoming king was not always simple. A ruler needed the approval of the gods themselves. Without divine support, people believed a king had no true right to rule. Minos knew this very well, so he prayed to the mighty sea god Poseidon. He asked Poseidon for a sign, a miracle that would prove to everyone that the gods supported his claim to the throne. Poseidon listened. From the dark waters of the sea, a magnificent white bull emerged. The creature was enormous, powerful, and impossibly beautiful. It was unlike any animal ever seen before. This bull was a gift from Poseidon. But the gift came with an expectation. Minos was supposed to sacrifice the bull to the god as a symbol of loyalty and respect. Yet when King Minos saw the bull, he hesitated. The animal was too magnificent, too perfect. Instead of sacrificing it, Minos secretly kept the bull and sacrificed a different one instead, hoping Poseidon would never notice. But gods in Greek mythology rarely forgive deception. Poseidon was furious, and like many punishments from the gods, the revenge was not simple. It was cruel, strange, and devastating. Poseidon cursed Queen Pasiphae, the wife of King Minos. Suddenly, through divine magic, the queen developed an uncontrollable obsession with the sacred bull. This was not love, it was madness forced upon her by a god's curse. Desperate and ashamed, the queen turned to a brilliant inventor named Daedalus. Daedalus was known across the ancient world as a genius craftsman, a man capable of building impossible things. The queen begged him to help her fulfill the curse that controlled her mind. Reluctantly, Daedalus created a strange device, a hollow wooden cow covered with real cow skin. The queen hid inside it, and the cursed union between the queen and the divine bull created something that should never have existed. A child. But the child was not fully human. When the baby was born, everyone in the palace was horrified. The child had the body of a human, but the head of a bull. He was neither man nor beast. He was something in between. This child would become known as the Minotaur. The name literally means the bull of Minos. But here is something most people forget. The Minotaur was not born violent. He was a child, a confused creature who had never asked to exist. But King Minos could not allow the world to see what had happened inside his palace. If people discovered the truth, it would destroy his reputation and authority. So instead of caring for the child, Minos decided to hide him. But as the Minotaur grew older, something began to change. His strength became enormous, his hunger became uncontrollable, and people began to fear him. Some stories say the Minotaur developed a taste for human flesh. Others suggest that the creature was simply starving, locked away without understanding what he was. But in the eyes of the king, there was only one solution. The creature had to disappear. King Minos ordered Daedalus to build something that had never existed before, a prison that no one could escape. Daedalus designed a structure so complicated that even its creator struggled to understand it. A massive underground maze, twisting tunnels, endless corridors, dead ends everywhere. This structure became known as the Labyrinth. Once it was complete, the Minotaur was placed inside, and the doors were sealed. From that moment forward, the creature would spend his entire life wandering in darkness. No sky, no sunlight, no freedom, just endless stone corridors. Imagine being born into a world where no one explains who you are, where every human fears you, where your entire existence is treated like a mistake. The Minotaur did not choose the labyrinth, it was chosen for him. But the story does not end there, because the labyrinth soon became part of something even darker. Years later, the powerful city of Athens lost a war against King Minos and Crete. As punishment, Minos demanded a terrible tribute. Every 9 years, Athens had to send 7 young men and 7 young women to Crete. 14 innocent people. They would be thrown into the labyrinth, and none of them would ever return. The Minotaur would hunt them in the darkness. For centuries, this part of the myth has been told as a story of terror, a monster devouring victims. But think about it for a moment. The Minotaur did not capture these people. He did not demand sacrifices. Humans did. King Minos used the creature as a weapon of fear, a political punishment, a living execution machine. The Minotaur became a symbol of horror, but the system that fed him victims was entirely human. Theseus tied the thread at the entrance of the labyrinth and slowly unraveled it as he walked deeper into the maze. That way, he could follow it back out. Deep inside the twisting tunnels, Theseus eventually found the Minotaur. What happened next has been told many different ways. Some versions say the Minotaur attacked immediately. Others say the creature hesitated, confused by the human who did not run. But the fight did not last long. Theseus was strong. He was prepared. And the Minotaur had spent his entire life trapped in darkness. In the end, the hero killed the creature. Theseus followed the thread back to the entrance. The labyrinth was escaped. Athens was free, and the Minotaur was dead. For thousands of years, this has been celebrated as a heroic victory. But modern historians and myth experts have started asking deeper questions. Was the Minotaur truly the villain of the story? Or was he the victim of a chain of cruel decisions? Think about the beginning. The entire tragedy started because King Minos lied to a god. Poseidon's punishment targeted an innocent queen. They are built from fear, shame, and power, and the creatures trapped inside them are not monsters. They are reminders of what happens when humanity chooses cruelty over compassion. So the next time you hear the story of the Minotaur, remember the creature wandering alone in the endless labyrinth. A child who never saw the sun, a life shaped by mistakes he never made, and a monster that the world created. Because sometimes the real horror in mythology is not the creature in the maze, it is the people who built the maze in the first place.